Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming along to another episode of Becoming a Powerhouse Brand. I'm so excited because if you have listened to the previous episode, I talked a little bit about how, as entrepreneurs, we can quite often have days where things maybe have triggered us, we feel a bit overwhelmed, like things can feel like they're spiraling out of control. And I'm really excited because today we have the beautiful Jessie Laute who's coming on to talk about breath work, the power of breath work. And the thing is, this is something that we all have access to. It's free. We can do it wherever we are, whenever we are. So Jessie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yay. Could you just tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into becoming a breathwork coach?
I know, right? If you told me 10 years ago I'd be spending my days teaching people how to breathe, I would have laughed at you. You're right. So I am, as you said, I'm a breathwork coach. I work with people to better understand their breathing patterns and what that means because we don't necessarily realize or pay attention to how we're breathing, but it can directly impact how we're feeling. So I work with individuals, groups, online, even businesses to help work with your breath to improve how you're feeling. So we can go, or I'll break all of this down for you as we go through and talk more. But how did I get into this? So my background's actually in the corporate world. So I used to work in HR and recruitment for many, many years. And it was always very high pressured. And I used to love that, it was sales and the responsibility and everything. But my most recent role was in London and this is coming up to 10 years ago now. And the role I was in was getting bigger and bigger, more responsibilities, more pressure. And I didn't have the tools and resources to cope with it. So I started to crumble under that. And it was starting to negatively impact my health, my relationships. I wasn't sleeping. And when I asked for help, I was told there's no budget. So I just thought, okay, I'll just carry on. And, it was that typical burnout, unfortunately, where I just couldn't cope anymore. So I decided to leave and take some time out and decided to take a project in Brazil for a couple of months and moved out there, as you do. And as I was working on this project, it was working with social entrepreneurs in the favela community. And it was really beautiful to support these people and live somewhere like Rio. You've got the beach, you've got the mountains, and I started to live life again, Jacquie. You get to the point
Yeah.
you realize you just for me it had been work and sleep, work and sleep, work and sleep. Like you'd stopped living or participating in life. I was just existing. And so when I was out in Rio doing this, I realized that actually I don't want to go back into a corporate role. I want to work as a coach. I want to help support people to feel better and know that they've got other choices. And as I was doing this and exploring coaching, I connected with a breathwork coach. And I was like, hang on a second. You teach people how to breathe. I'm already breathing.
How is
Like,
this a job?
what is this all about, right? Tell me more. And she was running her first ever breathing workshop. So I went along out of curiosity and I missed the entire introduction. And as I was laying there, there was people that were making sound. We were moving our bodies. We were breathing through our mouth in a particular way. People were coming and pressing acupressure points on my body. And I was feeling all sorts of different things. I didn't really know what was going on. But at the end of the session, I felt this deep sense of peace and stillness that I hadn't felt in so long that I was like, whoa, I can feel like this just from breathing. Tell me more.
Yeah.
So I kept going to her classes because I was curious, right? And every time I was going, I'd feel different things. I started to cry. I was releasing emotions. And I was like, what? Where is this coming from? And sometimes I knew what it was related to, and sometimes I didn't. But the essence of it was is I was feeling better and better and better. So I attended a 6-day seminar where you can like deep dive into the breath work. And this is just out of my own curiosity because I was like, what is going on here? Tell me how this
Yeah.
is working. And it was during this seminar that I was like, we were doing 2 breathing sessions a day. So it was on the 4th day that I had the most incredible breakthrough where I released a trauma I'd been holding in my body since my childhood. So when I was 16, I lost my father in a tragic accident. And it's a life-changing, tragic moment. And I dealt with it at the time very cognitively, and you have therapies and you deal with it and you move on, life continues. I had no idea that I had stored this away in my body on a cellular level for 20 years. And when this came to the surface and I released all of this, I was like, was first blown away that it was there. And when I was able to release all the emotion that I've been carrying around this, I was able to, the only way I tend to describe it is like drop back into my body, Jacquie. It's like I felt like I knew who I was. I felt more grounded. I felt clarity. I felt lighter. And it's like I'd been carrying this unconsciously for 20 years, and it had been shaping all of my decisions and how I'd been living my life. And, it had contributed to the stress and anxiety I was living through in life because it was hidden away as the root cause, right? So anxiety and stress that we experience in life is the effect of something. It's the result of
Yeah.
something. So what's causing it? What's the root cause? And I had no idea that this was there. So when I released this, it was that moment that I was like, okay, I have to share this. This is pretty cool. And in that moment, I decided to train as a breathwork coach and continue my training in Brazil and Mexico and the US and the UK. And I have been based back here in London doing this for almost the last 10 years. So
Wow,
that is my
amazing.
journey in a nutshell.
I love it. Oh, I love it. And isn't it amazing? Because I know I've had a couple of episodes on here. We had the beautiful Charisse that came on talking about your inner
Oh, yeah.
child. And I think it's such a powerful thing. And we can live our lives, can't we? And especially when you're in corporate and you're in the typical 9 to 5, going to work, working, coming home, going to sleep, doing it all again every single day, that you actually don't realize you're holding on to so many things that you might even be totally unaware are even there, even an issue.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And being totally unaware, that's key because we tend to switch into survival mode
Yeah.
because often it's that, we're busy, we need to get stuff done. So we're like, okay, I'll hold that in, I'll deal with it later because I've got to get stuff done. You've got to deal with the kids, I've got work to do, anything around. Or as well, if you have any kind of emotional experience, you may not feel like you can feel that or express it at that time because it doesn't feel safe or comfortable. It might be around people, you might be at work, you might, whatever it is. So we don't express or feel our emotions when things happen. So we store that away as well. And we use our breath to do that.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when you're having any kind of emotional experience, what happens to your breath? It changes
Yeah.
because maybe you hold your breath. Like literally sometimes we'll swallow back our tears,
Yeah.
right? Or if we get scared, we tense up our body, we hold our breath. We hurt ourselves, you stub your toe or something, we hold our breath and like tense up our body. So this is across all emotions, across a lifetime that we're holding this in and we don't know it's there.
Yeah.
So it can affect how we're feeling and how we're showing up in the world, which is what I think is so incredible.
I love that. So how, like with breath work, obviously we're breathing all day long. So
Yes.
how do you change how you're breathing? Like, can different breaths do different things? Like, what would be the first thing? So obviously anyone listening to this might have never even heard of like doing breath work exercises specifically. Will be thinking, well, I breathe all the time. I know how to breathe. Like, what
Yep.
is this person going to be able to teach me that's different to what I'm doing? Like, how can the different types of breaths actually impact how you feel, how you express emotion, all of that kind of thing?
Yeah, beautiful question. So, first of all, we all have a completely unique breathing pattern. So the way that we
Wow.
breathe, yeah, it's as individual as a fingerprint almost, and that's because of the different life experiences that we've had and the way that we breathe and we hold the breath in our body. So our unique breathing pattern is unique to us. So I always thought the best place to start is to be aware of your breath and how you're breathing. Start to build a relationship with your breath. Notice the pace of your breath, the depth of your breath. Are you holding your breath and what's going on? Because you can work with it, like you suggested, in so many ways. You can use your breath to feel more energized. You can use your breath to help improve focus, concentration, get a bit more clarity. You can use your breath to slow down in those moments of overwhelm. You can use your breath to help you sleep better, to improve sleep patterns. You can use your breath to improve digestion. You can use your breath to boost your immunity. You can use your breath to release trauma, like I did. it can help support you in so many different ways. Now, I'm trained in something called transformational breath, which is a conscious connected breathwork practice. So that is the deeper practice. It's a lot more integrative. That's what I would suggest you do with the practitioner, because you can start to experience altered states of consciousness. So if you speak to anyone who has experienced a connected breathwork session, circular breathwork session, they will describe things of feeling that they've almost left their body. Some people are levitating. Some people have past life experiences. Some people relive traumas that they can release. Some people are off speaking to angels and stuff. You can experience so many different things. People have physical experiences where the whole body is tingling and they feel like waves of cold, waves of heat, and it's just the body releasing, opening, and processing things. That is for me like the mothership of breath work. That is like the deep, full, whole, holistic practice. But day to day, if you want to start working with your breath and understanding your breath and feeling supported with your breath, start by, like I suggested, checking in with your breath. Take a moment just to notice how you're breathing. We should all be breathing through our noses all of the time. So if you notice you're breathing through your mouth, close it. And there are breathing exercises and breath training you can do to even retrain yourself to breathe through your nose if you notice you're breathing through your mouth a lot. So there is something like mouth taping. You can tape your mouth to retrain as well.
Oh
So
my gosh.
um,
Wow.
I know we should be breathing through our noses all the time, first of all. But then there are definitely different breathing exercises you can use to help you throughout the day. So, if you want to feel a bit more focused before you go into a meeting, if you want to feel calm before you are doing a presentation and, something to bring you back to center, there's a breathing exercise. If you can't switch off at the end of the day and you're like, I want to switch off, I want to wind down for the evening, there's another breathing exercise you can do for that. So,
Amazing.
it's almost like you can have like a whole library of breathing exercises that you can pick and choose from at whichever time you might need it.
Yeah.
Um, but I'd be happy to like guide you through something now if you wanted to
Yeah, let's
experience
do
something
something.
together.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this will follow on really nicely from the previous episode where I was saying about how, as entrepreneurs, like so often, and with the fast-paced social online world, we can quite often get triggered by something we've seen or read or heard. And that can often cause us to go into almost like a downward spiral of negativity and just feeling really deflated or frustrated. So, is there like an exercise that we can use in those moments that can just help us to kind of set ourselves back to zero and just come to our neutral?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I've got a great breathing exercise I can share with you for that. I just want to touch on what you said there
Yeah,
as well, because you're so right. The way we can get triggered by external things, particularly in social media or things that we've seen around us. And what I would say is that if you notice you're getting triggered, lean into that because that's showing you something. That's showing you a piece of healing that you can do because we're running programs within us all the time of beliefs that we've created or beliefs that have been formed over the years. And if we're triggered by something, that means it's tapping on that belief and it's causing us a bit of discomfort. So it's like, okay, what is this and how can I reprogram that belief? So don't be afraid to lean into that trigger.
yeah,
And if there's an emotional release that comes, welcome that as well. So the breathing exercise that I'd love to share with you is a great one to use at any time you feel overwhelmed. If you feel like this is too much or I'm feeling triggered by something, I want us to take a moment just to breathe in through the nose for the count of 4. And then we're going to exhale through our mouth for the count of 8. And when we exhale, we're going to exhale through pursed lips, so as though we're blowing through a straw. And the reason that we're exhaling for 8 is it's twice as long as the inhale. So what's happening is that we're going to engage and activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest response. So I always love to mention that there's real science happening here as well. Sometimes I think breath work, people are like, yeah, but how does it work? It's all just a bit woo-woo. But no, we're actually working with our physiology, and
yeah,
there's a chemical response happening in the body. So by extending our exhale, we engage the parasympathetic nervous system because every inhale is sympathetic, which is like our body's on switch, and every exhale is like our off switch. So it's like us, that's how we function with every breath. It's like on, off, keeping us going. So that's why it's so incredible that you can work with your breath in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in through the nose for the count of 4, out through pursed lips to the count of 8. Okay. So I'm going to invite you all just to sit comfortably, get yourself nice and relaxed, keep your feet firmly on the ground. If you feel comfortable, you can close down your eyes wherever you are. And just take a moment, first of all, to just relax your body. So relax your head, relax your neck, relax your shoulders, relax all of the muscles in your face. Unclench your jaw. Allow your feet to rest firmly on the ground. Feel yourself supported by the seat beneath you. And first of all, we'll just take a nice breath in and just sigh it out of the body. So gently in. And sighing it out, letting it go. And then just keeping those eyes closed down, I'm going to guide you through this double exhale breath. So we're going to start by gently exhaling again. Then breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through those pursed lips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Breathing out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. And out. One more time, nice and gently in. And letting it go. And then whenever you're ready, just gently bring your awareness back. If you did close your eyes down, just blink them open gently. And just notice how you're feeling. Notice how you're breathing now. One thing I forgot to mention before we started that as well is that as we breathe, notice where the breath is moving in your body. If you're noticing the breath is quite up in the chest and you're even moving your shoulders, allow that to soften. We want when we're breathing, we want to engage our diaphragm, which is our primary breathing muscle, and allow the breath to come lower into the belly as well as into the chest. So just be mindful of that as you're breathing as well. But Jackie, you look so peaceful. I'm going to ask you how you're
Yeah.
feeling.
It actually feels lighter. Like it's the weirdest. Like I didn't have the overwhelm or anything before I did that, but I can imagine if I did, just that release. Like, yeah, you do feel lighter. Like even my head, like everything just feels, yeah,
Yeah, nice.
amazing.
I like to say to people to try and remember, if in doubt, breathe it out. Because what we tend to do is we tend to breathe quicker when we're
Yeah,
feeling overwhelmed, or we hold our breath. And that's what makes us feel that contributes and adds to the stress, anxiety, overwhelm. So I
yeah.
was like, if in doubt, breathe it out. So exhale, just even like a nice deep breath in, sighing it out and letting go will help you to have a mini reset.
Yeah. I mean, I just think breath work is such a powerful thing. I did hypnobirthing with all three of my children. My third one was a C-section, the other two were natural births. And the
Mm,
breath was so powerful that you can actually, like, it's a pain relief, isn't it? Like when you're doing it the right way. And it's just such an incredible thing that we don't even think about because we're not using our breath the right way for the majority of the time. Like we're not filling our lungs and it's just amazing how we're living our day-to-day life, just doing these very short, shallow breaths the whole day long. But actually, when you do take that time to do those deeper breaths, like it completely changes your whole energy and your vibration.
it really does. And it's so cool that you've experienced it. And the way you describe it as well, we don't pay attention to our breath because we don't need to, right?
Yeah,
Because it is an automatic function. We're breathing all the time. It's only in times where we feel the overwhelm or we can't breathe that we actually pay attention to it. But when we are, like you said, taking that full breath, really filling up our lungs, there's so many cool things that are happening. We're allowing our body to receive more air, so oxygen can be absorbed into our body to feed our cells, to make sure we've got
yeah,
the energy that we need. Make sure that the body's circulating that oxygen around to feed our cells, and all of the other good things I mentioned as well before about, digestion, circulation, energy, immunity, all from breathing. But
yeah.
it's when you're breathing well. So it's definitely something that I'm so pleased when you invited me on to talk about this more, because it's something everyone could incorporate into their life. Even
Absolutely.
children, you can do it
Yeah.
with your children too.
Yeah, and I said to you actually, because we met at an event recently, didn't we, as well? For the second time we met in person. And I said to you about how the breath work that you taught, I think it was on LinkedIn, about cooling yourself down when it's a hot day. I taught
Yeah.
my children that, and they were doing it in the car on a hot day from school. And you just think it works. Like, it's so incredible. And that you can do it like from anywhere. You don't have to like spend a huge amount of time doing it. They're short exercises that can completely transform like your mood, how you're feeling, like everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, that made me so happy when you shared that, by the way. It was just,
Oh,
I was so happy because it's beautiful when children can have access to things like this, because
yeah,
I'm hearing more and more about how children are feeling anxiety at such young ages. And it's like, okay, if they can understand a bit about how they can use their breath and even meditation to help support them, that's going to be a lifelong tool to support them. So
yeah, amazing.
it with
Oh,
it's wonderful.
yay. Well, I know we've in the show notes we've got a 5 minute guided connected breathing session which Jessie's put in. So do make sure you check that out. Go and follow Jessie as well. Jessie, how can people work with you? Like, how do you actually work with people? Do you do one-to-one or group? How can anyone connect with you?
Yes, absolutely. So I do work with clients one to one, and that's in person or online. I now have longer programs that I work with. So it's to give you that deeper transformation. So definitely reach out if you're interested. I have monthly workshops, so you can come along and breathe together in a group. My next one's actually coming out at the end of October, and then there's another one at the end of November. And those are both in Richmond or Walthamstow, but all the details are on my website. I do also have online courses that you can do as home study and that you get lifetime access to, as well as my membership subscription, which means you can meet with me and breathe online together once a week. So you get that community, the support, and the breath work on a weekly basis.
Amazing. Oh, so exciting. Well, anybody that's listening to this that has found this really helpful, that would like to know more, do go and check out Jessie. Make sure you drop us both a DM and let us know how you found this episode. And thank you so much, Jessie, for coming on today.
I've loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Speak to you later. Bye.